Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this week's Stellar Developer Meeting. Today I have a couple of guests, so let me bring them onto the stage. And
Hello, everyone.
first of all, thank you for joining. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. I think you are well known in the community, at least from your names and your projects, but please give us a
Yeah,
quick introduction.
thank you for inviting us. People know me as Orbitlens. I am the lead of the team behind Stellar Expert, Albedo, Reflector, and some other ecosystem projects. And today we are here with Raf, the one and the only Raf.
Yeah, so I'm Raf, and I've been doing some business development work with Reflector for a little bit here, doing some outreach, finding some devs would be a good fit. And this works really well with our other project. I do kind of marketing for Stellar projects through Lumen Loop. So just a big outreach guy. And if you want to know what's going on in the community, come to me. But it's just really great to be here and be able to talk about two really good products and kind of jumping into it a little bit. But we're going to be talking about Reflector and Refractor, both things that are incredibly useful for devs looking to build in a decentralized way on Stellar.
Great. Yeah, take it away. I'm looking forward to this presentation.
Reflector is a decentralized price feed oracle for the Stellar DeFi smart contracts, and it supports financial derivatives, lending, borrowing protocols, algorithmic stablecoins, asset management contracts, and there's just anything that you want to do with price feeds, you can do it. So why are oracles important? So price manipulation is probably one of the most common vectors of attacks when you're working on DeFi. Almost every single week we hear about successful exploits. So the rule of thumb is when you write DeFi contracts, you write DeFi contracts on top of oracles, and you got to make sure that you're choosing the price feeds wisely. So again, you're only as good as your oracle when you're kind of sourcing your data from somewhere else. And kind of the really cool thing about Reflector is that it's really built on some known brands in the ecosystems. It's a decentralized consensus that they're agreeing on these price feeds. So it's controlled by a multisig of reputable organizations on Stellar, and it really helps guarantee that reliability, fault tolerance, and making sure that those price feeds are updated and secure. Reflector kind of relies on that quorum of nodes, and you can kind of see it in that picture on the dock there. And it's connected by Stellar Core validators. Next slide there. So we kind of combine two different Oracle approaches, on-chain feeds and subscriptions. You can kind of think of it as kind of like we just have the price feeds, which are the free, and then subscriptions, which is kind of like a pro level of these price feeds. What's really cool about Reflector is that at its base, it's free. Like all that data, anybody can plug into. You don't really need to pay for it, but if you do, there's some really cool things that you can kind of set for yourself, some automations and some communications, some notifications for that could be useful when you're developing. So on-chain price feeds are free for everyone. The interface allows for a set 40 compatibility standard. All the price feed data is stored in the contract itself in a fixed time frame. I think free is interval of every 5 minutes. So the data is readily available for all consumer contracts. They use Oracle quoted price results directly in the same function. It's efficient, it's optimized, low fees, and it greatly reduces the number of contract calls. So again, we're trying to make sure that it's efficient for your DeFi apps to kind of plug into off-chain data or classic data. Subscriptions, on the other hand, provide kind of like a more fine-grained data access with kind of user-defined customizable triggers with up to 1 minute sampling, which again, unlocks a lot of use cases with that 1 minute sampling. This service provides kind of access to a much wider range of available price feeds, private webhooks, invocations in combination with on-chain execution proofs, and then it guarantees, again, stability and security. So highlights. The Oracle contract provides kind of comprehensible interface, again, for SEP 40, the ecosystem standard. And on top of that, kind of offer like automatic cross-price calculations, utility functions, TWAP, range approximations. Last but not least, on-chain data is, again, like we said, it's completely free. So kind of go ahead and use it. I feel like doing on-reach is we're doing outreach is kind of a weird thing because we're trying to sell devs on a free product. Go use it. It's there. We hope this way, more, Sorbonne contracts can build kind of safe and reliable infrastructure, and kind of that main goal being, we want you to use a system that's safe. And that's kind of why these nodes that we work with are incredibly important, that we want to make sure that, you like these node providers are securing everyone's DeFi apps. So they're just kind of an incredible importance with, making sure that consensus mechanism and that decentralized nature of your Oracle kind of services those DeFi apps. Okay, so and that kind of brings us into the DAO. So it's a cluster. It's governed by these organizations, and they kind of they serve these and maintain these Reflector server nodes, and they participate in this cluster consensus. So again, when you want to get an asset listed, on this price feed listed, you really have to make a proposal to the DAO and submit with the tokens. Same with adding different kind of price sources. Again, you got to go to DAO, and the DAO make the decisions. None of it is done by one entity, and everyone needs to agree on it. And again, that kind of helps secure that all these organizations are key players in making decisions. And that brings us to the token. Again, the token is what kind of makes us able to participate in the DAO. Cluster operators receive actually tokens for participating in the consensus mechanisms, and they provide like computational resources to aggregate, validate, certify. So again, it makes them to pay them in a token. Correspondingly, like these tokens are correspondingly accrued tokens represent the equivalent of computational resources contributed by each party. These tokens are then used by the cluster for governance, token, and subscription services. So the XRF tokens can be used in cluster governance, voting on new price feeds or new cluster members' invitations. And they, again, serve as the backbone for the subscriptions, and they're required to create custom subscriptions and then pay for the upkeep of these subscriptions.
Yeah, and here we have a few pre-recorded videos with the interfaces, because we have a lot of them. I think I will start with the node admin dashboard interface, which is the interface that displays current configuration for cluster nodes, their public keys, and WebSocket addresses for each server. Below, you can see stats for each node. Other sections contain the list of tracked assets for every Oracle contract, and configuration changes, history, logs, etc. Live price feed, which is produced by the Oracle, is available on the ledger and on our website, reflector.network. Here you can see update history for every Oracle supported by the cluster for both pubnet and testnet. Ledger updates are stored on the ledger itself with regular 5-minute intervals, and immediately after that available for all consumer contracts that utilize our price feeds. And the next one is the interface of subscriptions. Subscriptions is the more advanced solution, which is a kind of a Swiss Army knife for any developer who decides to build any kind of Oracle-based solution on Stellar or some other chains. So subscriptions is a service for user-defined triggers invoked automatically once the price deviation reaches a certain threshold. Every Oracle node independently evaluates subscription conditions once a minute, and consumers receive webhook notifications on triggered price changes. Let's see how it works in the web interface. First, we need to select data source for base and quote symbols. The quoted value is calculated as quote price divided by base price. There are two options. First option is aggregated price from exchanges and price tokens from Stellar Public Exchange. For instance, here we select Arbitrum token from exchanges. Now the base ticker. We can utilize the same data source or quote prices for a pair from two different sources. This provides the ability to build a personalized oracle on assets from different feeds and different asset classes. The cluster will calculate the prices automatically. Here we select YXLM and trigger threshold here. It controls the target price deviation amplitude. In this example, it means that webhook endpoint will be notified every time the quoted price goes up or down by 2% compared to the previous dispatched value. Reflector also periodically sends heartbeat messages with current quote price to let the upstream service know that subscription is still active. To activate the subscription, we need to pay for it with XRF tokens, and they also required to pay the upkeep. The upkeep balance gets charged on the daily basis. It is worth noting that the daily fee depends on the quote complexity and heartbeat interval. Here we can use webhook demo website to show how it works. We'll just copy paste in the webhook URL and that's basically it. The account that created the subscription will become its owner. We need to confirm the transaction, and it will automatically create the subscription. So basically, all the setup, everything is done in the web interface here.
Nice animation.
At this subscription page, we can see all key parameters for each of the account subscription, as well as the remaining upkeep balance. Subscription cancellation removes it and reclaims remaining XRF tokens. And here on this interface, you can see the node notifications that come from the cluster. There was a lot of seemingly identical post requests, yet they have different signatures. Each Reflector cluster node sends notifications to consumers to provide redundant and reliable proof of delivery. As we can see here, every incoming request contains information about the subscription, quoted price, and update timestamp. What's next? We are actually developing the protocol, and at the moment, we are currently working on adding new price feeds for foreign exchange rates and commodities. Website improvements is another important task for us. We need some more code samples, better documentation, and developer support to make the integration for newcomers as smooth as possible. Because sometimes the RAF needs to go here and there, here and back again to explain something, and we need to basically explain some very basic things about oracles and our particular oracle model. And of course, the next huge milestone for us is going cross-chain. We want to expand our subscription service beyond Stellar, while the Quorum and all smart contracts logic will be working on Stellar network. Because essentially subscription service is chain agnostic, and any service on any chain or even without any blockchain can receive these price notifications. They just need to set up their subscription via the webhook interface. That's basically it about Reflector. We definitely want you to come to our website, to join our Discord, and to talk to the devs, talk to other people, and check what you can do with oracles. Because Reflector is the ultimate price reference for Stellar DeFi.
I think one of the big things too is you can see it out in the ecosystem already. Like you can see it in Blend. Like there's these really cool protocols that are starting to build onto Reflector. So again, go see what's out there. If you see what you like, maybe you're going to play around with Reflector. And once you're ready, go check out the Discord, or reach out to one of us and we can point you in the right place.
Yeah, totally. We can answer some questions now if you have any, or we can jump.
Yeah. So anyone that has any questions, feel free to ask. I saw Matthias, he was asking about the QR code. And I did that at the end of the presentation. That's great. But if anyone else has questions, we still have a few minutes. But I would like to ask a couple of questions. I'm thinking, what made you start build this? Because this is not just a small price feeds oracle. This is pretty comprehensive. I mean, everything from the security to have it managed by a DAO. How did you get started on working on this? And did it start out being
well,
big project?
We had a conversation with Tomer at the Meridian about 2 years ago, and it was like, what do you want to build on Server? Well, we have Stellar Expert. We are experts in data processing, so Oracle seemed like an interesting thing to build. But right now, maybe I'd reconsider this decision because it was a pretty bumpy road, and I'm super grateful to all our DAO members who joined us in this challenging task and supported us because they are actually the ones who run the node and protect the protocols on chain. Currently, we have more than $15 million protected by our oracles, and it's like de facto Oracle solution for Stellar Network. I am grateful to everyone who supported us with this.
Great. I think we have a couple of questions. How many?
Matthias has a really good one about the hackathon.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one. So we've had 2 dev competitions up to date, just to kind of help us highlight how the oracles can be used and kind of get devs playing with it. We had best oracle contracts. We had Lena, which is like a trustless loan platform, that won one of the prizes. We had Palta Labs that won a trusted portfolio manager that helps kind of rebalance your portfolio automatically, which is kind of cool. And then we had Kale Pale that did his Reflector Predict, like betting on prices through an oracle. So those were the 3 winning ones. We had a bunch of walkthroughs and text write-ups as well. We had some people that built some Reflector clients, some boilerplates, notification bots. Again, there's just kind of a lot of stuff there. And it kind of, if you're interested in Reflector and seeing how it can be used, going into the Discord and seeing the submission sections is a really cool list of different examples.
Great. Yeah, I have seen. So I've been to a couple of hackathons now, and I've seen Reflector being used. And I know you mentioned Kale Pale. I know we use it internally at SDF when we build cool stuff, fun stuff when we experiment. But it is. I have seen that both Slender and Blend have used it too. Is that something you are driving, something you are seeking out, or did they come to you and say, this looks like a really neat service?
Well, it started with is this first meeting with Tomer and people when Serban was still in beta and not even on mainnet yet. So actually, we partnered with some key players at the time.
Okay, great.
Could we maybe just kind of, I think we're running out of time, but let's jump into maybe do just a little touch of Refractor, because it is a touch of it.
I will do it pretty quick. So Refractor is a pending transaction storage and multisig aggregator for Stellar Network. It's a developer-focused service in the first place, but anyone can use it to store transactions and gather signatures required to match the sign-in threshold. That's a service that's been around since 2021, and like many active DAO organizations are using it, like Aquarius, Reflector, Blocks DAO at some point. So it's a very handy toolkit for DAO administration, joint custodial accounts, secure escrow services, treasury management services, like any kind of service that utilize Stellar multisig. Why you might need it? It's tricky to check what inside the transaction, what are the operations, required signatures, and something like this when you just get some random XDR encoded transactions and someone asks you to sign it. Gathering signatures requires sending a transactions via messengers or email or some other channel, which is like not so convenient, let's say it. If two or more people sign simultaneously, one of the signature can be lost. If someone signs the wrong transaction, everyone needs to start from fresh. Not enough signatures to match the threshold, and transaction will be discarded by the network. Too many signatures, it will also be discarded by the network. It also requires coordination, so someone needs to oversee the process, like count all the signatures, submit some transactions, submit the signed transaction to the network, etc. So we've been there, and that's actually a painful experience. Like once you start using multisig at scale, it's problematic. Refractor allows you to basically upload your transaction XDR web form. You just copy paste transaction XDR, check selected network, click save, and that's it. Optionally, you can choose auto submit to the network option, which will allow the system to automatically submit transaction to the network once it gets enough signatures for it. And after creating, you can simply share the link with all the signers, and that's it. That's how the transaction looks, right? And we can see here that it's much easier to understand what operations are inside, what will be the execution result, what are the probable consequences, and etc. Pending transaction page also displays all transaction details, current signing status, and automatically detected validity period. And the key part of it, signatures. Reflector can automatically detect all possible transaction signers, their weights, and total transaction threshold. It will show who else can sign, and it basically prevents the situation when too many signatures were added and transaction again becomes invalid. Here, for example, you can see like real-world examples from real-world signatures with different thresholds, how it looks in the process of signing, and how it looks when it's fully signed. Web interface supports multiple wallets. So there is an option to sign the transaction with a wallet of your choice, or import a signed XDR directly. So in case if you have air gap device or something like this, you can just copy paste XDR there, and Reflector will combine valid signatures, discard duplicates, and remove all inapplicable signatures. So it basically makes the process much more streamlined. It's free service. It's free for businesses and individuals without limitations. We have some rate limiting, but you can use it for free. It's been around since 2021. It is supported by our team. It receives some regular updates, so it's been pretty reliable service. It is battle tested, as I told. It was employed by different DAOs, and it has OpenAPI, so you can integrate it directly into your application or service. And the best of all, probably it's open source. Everyone can check what's inside or run own instance and work with it. So it's pretty handy tool. Anyone who will be managing DAO or some kind of multisig setup account, you just need to check it, and maybe it will be right for you. That's
great. I think it's very interesting, and I think multisig is not necessarily something that's easy to do. So having a tool like this, I think that is super interesting. I think actually multisig, maybe we should do a separate presentation on that, separate talk about that, because you guys definitely have some experience with that. So
yes.
So maybe I think that could be an interesting topic for a future presentation. But for now, we unfortunately out of time. I need to wrap it up. Thank you both of you for joining. It was super interesting to learn more about what you're working on, and yeah, I can just encourage everyone that needs pricing feeds to start using it. I mean, it's super easy, and it's free, and it's something that allows you to scale with your application as well into maybe a subscription-based model. So thank you for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.